Techsheck, folks. We keep going, and for this episode, we have a very interesting concept that's kind of new to Pakistan, new to the region. We do see it here in North America. It's called Muawin, and I have here Amar Afif, the founder and CEO, to tell us a little more about it. Hi, Amar. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Farouk. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. So let's jump in. Tell us more. What is Muawin all about?
No, thank you, Farouk. Growing up in the U.S., I knew, it's very common that you have small businesses. Small businesses are the lifeline of the economy. In the U.S., that's where I grew up. In Canada, these small businesses have lots of options for liquidity. So you set up a company, you start transacting. You can go to your local bank, you can get financing, you can get working capital, you can get inventory. There's a lot of government programs that are out there as well. There's a lot of private options as well. So for me, I look at Pakistan, and there's about 900,000 to 1 million micro retailers that are operating in Pakistan. So these are micro retailers that are generally a single individual owner. And he's trying to do the best he can, right? So he's trying to sell more, make more, and there's obviously a limitation that he doesn't have access to lending capabilities.
Right.
Only about 7% of them have access to that because they're registered and they have, some transaction history, or they have some sort of credit, credit reporting they can go to. So the other 90 whatever percent it is, they really don't have access. And so what we wanted to do is come up with a concept that provides liquidity to these micro retailers, but not giving them cash, right? So we wanted to do this in a very responsible manner, and also take a look at data, how we can use data to enhance these micro retailers. Right. So the concept that we came up with was essentially partnering with distributors, partnering with FMCG companies. And so what Muawin does is go to these distributors, and they say, who are your top retailers? Which retailers are performing for you? Which retailers can buy more and obviously be able to sell more? And so what we provide is essentially working capital loans to these micro retailers. So our notion is we take data from these distributors, we give the money to the distributors, and it's the merchant that then takes this inventory, they sell it many times over, and then they pay us back. So what we really try to do is create an ecosystem here where the distributor is winning because the distributor is selling more. The retailer is winning. He's able to get more inventory, and generally these are fast-moving products, right? Coke, Pepsi, tobacco, and so it's the retailer that's winning, and then obviously we're making money as well. So it's that ecosystem that we've created. Our notion is not to come in and charge predatory pricing, make it a win-win for all parties, and so that in essence is what Muawin is.
Awesome. So tell me a little more about how the monetization model works for you as Muawin by doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially, if what we do is we'll take let's take $100, right? So we give $100 to the distributor. The distributor will take that $100 and give that inventory to the merchant, only what the merchant wants. So he wants certain Coke products, he wants certain water, anything like that. So that inventory is delivered to the merchant. The merchant then has 90 days to pay us back. Generally, these are fast-moving goods, and so therefore they can sell it in 4 or 5 days. They can flip it over, 15 times, 20 times over those 90 days. Right. They're essentially making a percentage profit on that, and the way we price this is that the profit they're making is at least 5 to 10 times more than they have to pay us back, and so they have a complete win here. We're taking let's say 10-15% of that profit that he's essentially making, and we're also sharing that with the distributor as well. And so essentially what we've created is this really win-win, whereby everybody here is generating some sort of revenue from this model.
Got it. And how do you control the lending, right? How do you ensure that you're going to get paid back and things work?
So it's all about data. It's all about data, right? So we will never go to a merchant by ourselves. We will never sign a merchant and say, are you interested in borrowing? What we do is we go to the distributor and we get data from them. How long has this merchant been on board? What's his average spend? How much, how long does he take to pay back? Is he reliable? So we take all this data, then we go with the distributor to the merchant. We show them the value proposition of doing this. And then at the end of the day, that merchant is incentivized that I want to take this on. I can sell more. I'm happy about it. And so, and at the end, they do end up paying us back. However, if they don't for any reason, we have agreements with a distributor that they could potentially stop supply with them as well. And so, if you're a small merchant and you can't sell Coke or Pepsi, it's going to be a tough business for you to be in. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's great. So tell us a little bit about where you guys are today. Are you generating revenue?
Yeah. Yeah, so Farooq, I started this process almost a year ago.
Okay.
It's been almost a year and a half. So in order to do this, you have to get a license as well. So in August of this year, we got a preliminary knock license as well from the SECP. So that allowed us to get to be able to do the lending. We're the third fintech in the region in Pakistan actually to receive this license. So
Okay.
that was a big accomplishment. And then as soon as we got the license, we started transacting. So we spent about a year building this platform. This is a completely digital platform. And so I wanted to have the technology in place. I wanted to have the license in place before obviously we start transacting. And so now we've started transacting. It's been about 4 or 5 months. We've done over 1,000 loans. We've dispersed about $100,000 so far.
Okay.
And the motion is just to continue growing. Right now, we're operating out of Lahore. Our goals in Q1 are to expand this into Multan and Faisalabad. And then we start to move beyond Punjab into the other provinces as well.
Very cool. Okay. So what are your revenue projections for, let's say, next year?
So next year we're targeting about 40,000 loans, and the reason we're targeting that is because these distributors that we're working with, almost every retailer buys co-products, right? And so we have access to the retailers now. So for us, it's not a matter of trying to a big sales and marketing effort to sign up these retailers. Really, how fast can we go? And so we're projecting about 40,000 loans next year. We're projecting about $5 million in disbursements next year, which will result in, hopefully a little bit over $1.5 million for us as well from a top line perspective.
Right. What does your competition look like?
So there are a couple of players in the market. I would say that they're focused more on the nano lending side. So let me give a loan to an individual, perhaps an individual merchant as well.
Mhm.
But they're dealing directly with the consumer, right? They're dealing directly with the merchant, let's say. Our model is that tri-party model, right? And so what I wanted to also, I should emphasize this, I wanted to make this Sharia compliant as well.
Oh,
And
very
so to
cool.
me, I did not want to give cash. I wanted to actually give goods. And so that allows this whole transaction to be Sharia compliant as well. So we're the first one in the market to be able to do this from a Sharia compliant perspective. And so the competition is not really, again, as I mentioned, they're doing more nano lending for individuals right now.
Excellent. Okay, great. Well, good. And moving along to the last question, very important one. What can the diaspora do to help?
Look, I've been part of that, right? I've been in the U.S. I grew up in Canada. I've been in the U.S. for many years. Look, to me, there's so much going on in Pakistan. I think, for me, it's everything from, finding the right expertise. We're looking to hire people. We're looking at, how do we expand this to other, other distributors, even other aspects of the economy as well. Can we do this for, the gig economy, for instance? So I'm looking for advisors. I'm looking for help. I'm looking for people that have experience in Pakistan and are living in the US that might have some concepts as well. We have done our seed round. We are looking at doing another round as well, because for us now, this is a matter of how much can we borrow to be able to lend to these micro retailers as well. So we're not really looking for capital from an operating perspective. It's more for lending perspective.
Got it. Okay. Good, good, good. Well, that's great. Any ideas on the size, what you're looking for, and what time frame?
So for us to disperse about $5 million, we're looking to, raise about 800,000 to $1 million or so.
Okay.
And again, we've been in Pakistan a lot. Everybody seems to really like this model. There's some history now. There's a return that gets established through this as well. So it's more sort of balance sheet lending that so anyone who's looking for Sharia compliant investment potentially. So that's the initial raise. And then as we continue to progress, we just have to continue to add to the balance sheet. So.
Sounds great. No, this is excellent. Well, I wanted to tell you this, Amar, thank you very much for jumping on. We're coming to the end of our time. Uh, Really interesting concept. It seems like it can help a lot of people with cash flow log jams, which is always a challenge, I'm sure, especially in environments like that. And with that, wanted to wish you the best of luck. And thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Farouk. Thanks so much. Take care.
Take care. And for our audience out there, as you can see, we continue to bring new, interesting, unique concepts. Please like, share, and follow us. And share ideas with us about people you know who are doing cool and interesting things in Pakistan. And with that, thank you, everybody. Allah Hafiz.